Hi everyone, it's Noelia with My Moxie Dreams. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to be a flip through of my everyday carry, but first we're going to do the weekly reset portion, which is pretty quick. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this kind of content, and if you do, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. For everybody else, welcome back. If you are new, I am currently in a Gillio Amica matte brown Croco. My guts are always Franklin Covey compact size. I have Franklin Covey inserts, official, quote unquote, from the company, and then everything else I create or I purchase, and we'll go through that as I go through the planner. But first, let's go to our weekly last week and let's just get the weekly reset done. So I already have here, let me see. I hope you guys are doing good. It is Monday. I just recorded a thingamabob for this one for the pocket moleskine, and I'm doing this one. Ranch is food. What's 7? I don't even remember. Food. It was my mom's birthday, so we had to go get her some stuff. World Market was not food. Costco renewal and movie. All right, I already have the totals. So food was, I want to get this done so that we can move on to the flip through. You know what's so funny today is that when I work, sometimes I work at my desk, but when I know like I need to be spread out and have a bunch of files and stuff. And then Costco renewal was 65, so total was 728.49. But I was working at my coffee table today, and I always have YouTube on, or I have like Big Brother, any shows that don't really need my full attention. I just kind of have in the background. Typically it's YouTube, and I'm listening to Beverly and her planner stuff. I love watching her. 69. And unexpected bill was Costco, 728.49. 728.49. Let's get our little handy dandy. I purchased this from, I don't know who. Does it say here? Chrissy Ann Designs. I've been wanting a stencil, but it really doesn't work for my planner. You'll see right now when we go back to the weeks that how that works for me. So let's do 700 is right there. And what did we say? 728. So that would put us at about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have food was 380. And that was because it was my mom's birthday. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 380 right there. Sorry for the shaking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28. Okay. So let's do, this is basically, so when I'm sitting in the living room, I always have something on to watch. Not really watch, but listen to. It's like my soothing background noise as I'm working. And a commercial came on, and I, for whatever reason, looked up to watch it. And it was, you can see I tried to use the stencil, and it really didn't, it doesn't really fit my planner, unfortunately. So let's grab the current week, which is this one. So it was a Neutrogena commercial, and it was so freaking funny because it showed, I didn't know it was a Neutrogena commercial. It was 90210, and there's a scene with some characters, right? One of the couples, and there's like, it takes like literally 3 seconds of the 90210 clip, And then it pans to like a dermatologist lady, and she's like, if you remember this show or these characters, I think she said, if you remember this, she just said, if you remember this, which is the 90210 and all the characters, then it's time for you to have the Neutrogena retinol, like meaning we're freaking old and we need to. I was dying laughing. I thought that was freaking brilliant. I just thought it was the funniest freaking thing ever. So yeah, I was like, oh, thanks for, because I saw the couple from 90210, and I immediately was like, oh, 90210. And then cut to the dermatologist saying, you know, if you remember this, trying to insinuate that we're old. And I was just laughing. I'm like, wow, that cuts deep. That cuts deep. It was funny. Okay. Everything is here. Meal ideas I'm doing today. I know today I'm doing spaghettis. Tomorrow will be pizza because it's Jaden's B-day and we order out for pizza. Today I need to do, oh shit, I just remembered, 60 minutes. I did this and this. I did this. This had 60. I did the fountain yesterday and this was 60. What I need to do is go turn that on. I forgot. Okay, so this is all done, ready for the week. I have certain things I need to get done. And that is that. All right, so there's our weekly reset. We moved our week back here. We logged it in our finance and we logged it in our thingamabob. I think I'm out of my planner funk. I hope so. I think I am. Let me put this here because actually let me go here and just put this here. Shit to remember. I was thinking when I recorded the other video, I need to start doing the inserts for 2026. Start doing them and then adding them to my website. Okay, that way I can toss that. All right, so I feel like I'm out of my planner funk. This week or so, the last 2 weeks, I've been loving my pocket. I haven't been feeling like I have to, I guess, that I feel like it's not necessary feeling that I was feeling for a while and just off-putting with my pocket for a while and just trying to decide what I'm going to do for 2026. I mentioned in my last video that for 2026, as you guys know, my planner buddy from France, Beantut, has already sent me a 2026 pocket Moleskine daily. And I ordered Just Scribbles pocket because I just wanted to see her. She's put so much hard work in her products and I wanted to order one from her and see how that pans out in my planner, you know, to see if I use it. I for sure think that if I don't use it as a daily, if I stick with the pocket Moleskine, I for sure think that I'm going to use Just Scribbles as a journal. I want to buy a camera. You know, I have one right now. It's like the mini Kodak pictures, and I don't want that. I want pictures that I can print on my sticker paper and cut them out and put them in a journal, like a daily journal. But I think I'm waiting to get that order shipped. I think Shiv is going to be shipping those out maybe October, November. I don't remember, but I'm not stressed about it. I mentioned that there's another planner that's on Amazon that I'm interested in, but I really know that there's no point in me getting that because it's just, I'm buying planner stuff knowing I'm not going to use it. And it's just a waste of money. I've never done this where I buy multiple different planners trying to see, like, I don't know what I'm trying to see. I know what works for me. I know what I like, but for whatever reason, this particular year for 2026, I am buying a lot of different things for options. But you guys know me. You guys have been with me for so many freaking years. You know, I stay with my tried and true, and my Franklin Covey Compact, she's my life. She's my lifeline. Like I I keep saying I'm going to do things different, or my mind is like, hey, we should try this, or hey, we should try this. And then at the end of the day, it's like when all the dust settles, I know what I know, and this is what I know. However, with that being said, the pocket moleskin portion, the daily, my fun everyday kind of, this is where I get to decorate and do fun stuff. This will either be pocket moleskin or Shiv's pocket. We'll see. And if I keep the pocket moleskin as my daily record, I will probably use Shiv's as a journal, like a, what is it? Like a, not a junk journal. What did you guys call it? Where you put pictures and stuff. My brain, memory keeping. For my everyday carry, my compact size, I purchased 3 different planner inserts that I just know already I'm not going to use, but I did it. And then I purchased 2 different kinds, or not purchased, I purchased one, and then Binta sent me the other. Okay, stop talking, Noelia. Here we go. I mentioned earlier that my guts are Franklin Covey compact size. You guys know this. For those who are new, welcome. I have Franklin Covey compact size. And as I mentioned, the only items here that are actual Franklin Covey are my Her Point of View monthlies. I like to have my entire year of monthlies in my planner because I am very much go back and see, or jump ahead and plan. And so I like to be able to view the months at a glance. So the only thing that's in my planner that's actual Franklin Covey are these tabs, the month, Her Point of View. I have these back tabs here. Let me see if I can get there. These garden info mists, these little mini ones, mini tabs are, I think they have 12, and I purchased 2 sets just in case I need to use them. So those are Franklin Covey. The hard thingies, this stuff, the folders, and this, I think that's all I have of Franklin Covey. We'll go into it as I go. So this is just decorative. I really don't get in here. I pull this out. This is the most that I pull out because there's Post-its behind there. All right, and you guys know that I do my theme every month. This is September. She's gorgeous. I love her. Now, my setup remains the same. If you guys have been with me for decades, because it feels like that's how long I've been here, for however long I've been on YouTube, when I first started, I had 4 thingamabobs, 4 tabs, and I think it was to do, goals, budget, and personal. That's evolved to 5 different tabs, and I still have those dividers ready to go should I decide to do them. The cool thing of that, I always get blank dividers so that I can print out my words on my Cricut and decide to change it. And you'll see that I did that this particular flip through. I make my own clear ones, I make my own white ones. They're super easy to make. So I make these, and then the clear ones, or the frosted ones, I order from Lines Plus Paper. She's the only person when I ordered from her before she closed her shop, I think I ordered 5 to 6 different sets, and I love them. And she just reopened her store again for dividers. She had at the store for inserts, but she just listed dividers again, and I ordered another 2 sets, I think, for here and for the pocket rings, even though I do not use pocket rings, but I bought them in case I get the urge. You guys know my pocket journey, okay? So we won't even go there in this one. All right, so my current tabs are, I went back to 4 because I felt that, and again, there's other videos of me talking about this, but there was a point where I just felt like I couldn't find what I was needing, or I don't know. And I'm very much the type of person that when I go to a tab, I want to be able to go exactly to what I'm looking for. If I'm going to touch something, these tabs, both top and bottom, have to be going to exactly the place I need. I've mentioned this before. I love watching people who have like a bunch of decorative sheets. It makes me happy. Like, I love to watch planner videos where they have so many beautiful dashboards. I think I saw Plan with B recently, and she's doing all her October themes. Like, she has a little ghost. I freaking love it. I love it. But because of how my brain works, I can't do that. And what I was finding is I had an extra tab. I don't know. I don't even remember, to be honest with you, because I'm so locked into the 4 tabs now that I love it. But even when I rearrange, so nothing gets, let's see. Nothing gets removed per se, but things have been moving around. This past year, I have found that I'm moving things around way more often. And I think it's because I keep adding additional things to my planner that either I don't really need, it's there for looks purposes instead of functionality purposes. Like, I don't know, but I was struggling. You guys know this in previous months that I've been struggling, and I ended up rearranging it maybe last month or the month before, I can't remember. But yesterday I needed to print, or I think Saturday I needed to print an insert that I had run out of room. I had already used it up, and I started to kind of go through my planner again, and I ended up feeling like, you know what, this needs to be changed again. Not changed in the sense of like tearing stuff out, but moving it around so that it's functional. What do I really need, and why am I feeling like I'm not being able to get there in one turn of a tab, I guess, right? And so I moved a couple of things around, and really I just moved 2 or 3 things around. Well, maybe more than that, but in creating additional areas or tabs, changing tabs, I was able to move things from a certain area to its appropriate area. I hope that makes sense. I'm way wordy today. Sorry, guys. Okay, so you'll see that as we move forward. So I've always had my theme in the front, and I just like to open up my planner and see whatever my beautiful theme is for the month, and she's my beautiful theme for the month. All right, and then her point of view, the month on 2 pages, and it comes with the 2-year at a glance. So I always have this, some kind of dashboard attached to the back of this. Typically, and I can see that I didn't do it, I highlight my pay periods here so that I can quickly look at them. I'll probably do it for when I get the 2026 one. It'll have 26 and 27, and we'll set that up when it's time and I get all the stuff that I ordered. I love to have my whole year here because I have certain things, data that is important to me. I always have anything that's a renewal as far as like payments. They are placed here in the bottom, and I highlight them so that I remember, but I also have them in my bills due. I'll have a little thingamabob like this. This is a sticker remove, so when it's time for 2026, I'll be able to take this little page flag out and put it in next year's so that it's something that I can reuse. And then I put anything important, like here's my colon cancer screening that I mailed back, or anything important gets placed here. For a while, I was putting my master task list back here, and it was working until it wasn't, and I stopped doing it. I added 2 things to my monthlies that I found I wanted and I needed, and that was the garden tasks post-it. So you'll see every month, you see the things that I need to do, and it's more visual for me, and it kind of triggers like, oh yeah, this is what I need to be doing, etc., etc. And then the other thing that I ended up doing is printing Plan with Bees. I print both of her calendars. You'll see here that I have February. I have these these monthly stickies on every month. And what I've decided to do and what's been working for me is that I put my boss's travel. And that way, if my female boss is in Paris, I know when she leaves, when she's coming back. And that way, if I need to plan doctor's appointments or have decide to take a vacation day while they're gone, I know that there's not going to be a lot of stress around that because they're out of the country anyway. So that was an addition that I had added, I think mid-year. I may have reviewed it with you guys or maybe not, I don't remember, but that is kind of how we do it. I've added appointments here. I do my family movies here, birthdays, of course. When I talk to my mom and dad, either my mom visits, my dad lives in Texas, and so I like to track when my mom actually visits. And when I speak to my dad, I track how often I do fuel up my car. Somewhere here I have when I do Costco, I have a very specific coding so that when I'm going back to look at something, I can quickly see like, okay, I see dad. I see that I called my dad twice a month this month, which is really bad. But that I ran errands with my mom twice, that I put gas, that I went to Costco. Like I see here that I have mom errands and I don't have a sticker. So I didn't see that because there's not a little dot there. That's important to me. So I'm gonna put this here so I remember. I have the little dots, so it takes my eye there. I can quickly see it on my view because it's got a highlighted dot. So that's my monthlies. Again, her point of view. This is the future planning, and what I did is I put this here. This is from an old insert, Franklin Covey insert, but I wanted the 2026 so that I can put appointments. Sometimes when you go to the dentist or annuals or whatever, they give you so far in advance, especially our dentist. And so having the future planning here is great because when I start to set up 2026, I can transfer this data into the new 2026 monthlies. And then I don't have a lot of personalized stuff in here. The only things I do have is these plain, really thin sheets of paper. It's just basic copy paper. And then I just added a bunch of family photos. And these are right before every tab. If you guys remember, when I have my frosted tabs, you see these, they're more prominent because right now I have my white tabs. You really don't see it unless I go to that particular tab and you see it. Okay, so that is that. And then I have a divider here. This is a Franklin Covey curved divider that I love. And I am able to feel that instantly and go to my notes tab. And I have this as a freebie on my website as a dashboard. Again, it is a greeting card. I do not own this image. It is a greeting card and I just scanned it in. All right, and then I have just a little business card adhesive that I put notes here. I also have page flags just reminding me of the Chewy, my cat's schedule. Sorry for the glare. Family breakfast, family dinners. When we do that, I can just, there was a point in time that we were doing family breakfasts every other week and we would pick the days in advance. We haven't done that in a while. My mom has OPMD and it's basically a muscular dystrophy that attacks her throat and her eyesight, and we can no longer go out to restaurants because she chokes on her food, and it's very traumatizing for us, but also for people around us who are like, what do we do? There's nothing you can do, unfortunately. So back to this. This tab takes me to, I don't know why it's here. It should be here. I might have forgotten to, but this tab takes me to my notes pages, and this is just where I brain dump. I have my Stop Procrastinating. This is Simple and Trendy Co. I love this insert. I have multiple of them. This is one that I created. It was inspired by a Target dollar spot notebook or memo pad, and I created these for my thing because I love them. These are from My Minimal Planner. I love them. She has the daily check, which I think are so cute. And then she has some grocery ones, and I'll show you that later. Plan with B inspired me to go to my local bookstore and purchase these word finders. I cut them down to fit my planner. My kids tell me that I'm losing my mind and I need to do these more often, but I put them in here like once a week, once a month, and I try to do them and then take them out. It's just, again, nothing important. It's just so when I'm somewhere, like recently I was at the car wash and I just sat there and did one. I used to have like 7 or 8 of them in here, and I just realized I don't need that many. I just need one page that has 2, and then when I complete them, I can take them out, put a new one in. I'm trying to minimize the bulk and also like not having so much of something when I don't need it or use it that often. So one in here is enough. Okay, then we go into my currently, and my currently has, what I've decided to do, because these are so plain, is I put photos in each, just favorite things that make me happy in each one. So this is currently, and I have just a cute photo. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry for the glare, you guys, I forget. This is a freebie on my website. It's just a quote that I love. On the other side is Hey Planner Girl, and this is her Perpetual calendar. It has birthdays. I probably need to update it. I also have renewals. So the renewals coincide 3 places. The renewals are at the front of my monthlies to remind me. They're in my Perpetual calendar, and then they're in my bill pay under these little page flags. Again, it's just a way for me. Those are important. My renewals are important to me, and I want to always make sure that they are included in my budget and that I'm aware before it happens. And then you have my monthly tab down below. We have a monthly, a weekly, a bills due, and a daily banking. And on top we have home and health. You're probably wondering, what do you mean home? We'll get into it. For those of you who've been with me are like, wait, that used to be cleaning. Yes, we'll get into it shortly. All right, so here's the current month, and I have my little key here, which if you remember in previous months, I have a gas. I want to be able to see how often I put gas because I work from home, and I want to see how long it lasts me, or if I'm going to the city very often or Sausalito or wherever, I like to see how long my fuel lasts me. And then, as I mentioned, I'm really bad about calling my dad. He lives in Texas. So I added these dots for my dad, my mom visiting, and running errands with my mom. My mom lives here where I live. She's literally like 6 blocks up from me at a senior center. I always call it like a senior dorm room because they don't have nurses or anything. It's only senior living in apartments, and it's like so funny to hear my mom, the drama that happens in their senior dorms. I often don't realize that I don't pick her up as often as in my head I think I do. And so this is why I created this little key here so that I can keep track of that. And there's stuff I need to put here, like she came over for her birthday and we did a whole thing. And then what I do in the monthlies is have sit down and go through all the things that I needed to do for that month. I would brainstorm, and I was doing that for quite some time, and whatever I didn't complete would get carried over. You can see here, things were getting carried over. And I think in June, I stopped really purging, or maybe it wasn't June, maybe it was May. No, it was June. I stopped brainstorming all the stuff and just put the things that I know I have to do. I back up my phone, back up my laptop. So you'll see here, I didn't even do July. Here is August. What I do is I make sure these items are always master task on my monthlies. And then what I decided, because I was going through stuff yesterday and Saturday, and I'm like, there's some house stuff that I want to get done, and I've just put it here that I can carry over. Those are, I think, the 2 main things that need to be carried over if I don't complete them. Brain dumping the month, I haven't done in a while. Maybe I need to go back to that. I don't know. But as of right now, I just put the primary things that I know I must do every month, and that's this. So that's that. Here are my weeklies. Let's go to the current week. This is the other place that I have a decorative, my theme. She's in between the current week and the prior week in case I ever need to look back at what was charged or what I spent. These inserts I create, they are inspired by 5 Choices. 5 Choices Franklin Covey only comes in classic size. They do not do compact. So that was what inspired me years and years ago to do these inserts, because they do not do this particular layout in compact size. So I created these and I have them as freebies. There's different kind of titles and whatnot. I'm not going to go into the freebies. You can go to my website and look at them. But because these are personalized to me, I can change the fronts as often as I want. And so during the spring and summer months, I put my watering tracker. So here's my work reminders, meals, my watering tracker for my gardens, and then my skincare routine. I will be honest, like I've said in the past, that I was in a little bit of a funk and I really wasn't tracking these things, and it was bothering the crap out of me. Look, I was tracking them in a different place. Like my watering stuff, I was tracking in my pocket Moleskine, because it's just easier for me to flip through and see when the last time that I irrigated, as opposed to looking back at my weekly. So I'm probably going to take this out come 2026. We'll see. But these are my weeklies. And then you guys know finance and budgeting is super important to me. So my weekly spending tracker is always on the back. This always remains the same. And this coincides with, we just did it right now. I close out my week on Monday, see how much I spent for that week and the categories that I track, which is here. I track food, miscellaneous, self-love, cats, fuel, bills, unexpected bills, and then I get a total, and then I put it into my graph. We'll show you that shortly. And then, so that's the weekly tab takes me right to that. You'll see here that I have a bottom tab here, just a simple little tab, and there's one here as well. This side tab takes me to the front of my weeklies, and then this little tiny bottom tab takes me directly to my weekly spending. So there's the front, there's the weekly, and then there's this bottom tab that takes me to my spending. Again, it's super important for me to be able to go to the spots that I want. So if I'm somewhere, I'm like, oh, I need to write down how much that I just ordered something on Amazon, I can just go to that tab and go directly there. And if I need to go, oh, I need to check something off in my front of my weeklies, I have this little guy, this little tab thing to take me there. Okay, and then I have just this little insert that I created on Canva. It's like a cute little to-do, I'm very busy, and I added another business adhesive top tab to this. I keep my meal ideas and meal planner rather. Lines plus paper, she sent me some new dots. I have them here so I can remember to use them. So both sides of this laminated insert has the business adhesive so that I can place things here, whether it's notes or whatever. For instance, I have a tab here. I am like triangled in between 3 schools. There's a grammar school, a middle school, and a private school, and I'm center. So oftentimes I'll leave the house to go run an errand, and it's during release. There's a different way to get out of my house if I don't go through the main way, to avoid all of the schools releasing. If I make the mistake of going out and it's between any of these drop-offs or pickups, it is a nightmare. So I decided to print these out for me and my 2 kids who drive, so that they know, like, hey, if this is the time you're coming home, or if you're doing something around this time, come through the back way so that you don't get stuck in the middle of all the school pickup, because it's insane. So that's there. This is, again, my minimal planner. She just released this recently and I freaking love them. I put them right behind this tab and as a quick reference. I guess I could put them somewhere else if I wanted, but I like it here because it's just a reminder. This, for instance, is my garden. I'm just gonna put garden here. and I like to highlight things. This is my garden daily check, and it's just all the stuff that I need to do. Just an open-ended check of stuff that I need to get done in my garden. It's just a quick way to look at it so that when I'm doing my weeklies and I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to work on the layout, or oh yeah, I need to do this. Rather than having it here in my weekly, this is specific to my garden and I'm able to see it and carry it over week to week. So I love these inserts. She has a grocery one too that I absolutely love. I think if I'm correct, she just released a bunch of others. I keep the entire month of weeklies, current weeklies in here. So all of September weeklies are here. And I keep the entire month, and then when the month closes, I pull these out and they get archived. Okay, and then here's the other photo, and then here's my trackers. Now this is where a big change happened. And it's so funny, I was purposely going back to my old videos to see, why do I feel like it's more complicated than it needs to be? I don't remember it being this complicated, you know, years ago when I was planning. And the primary reason is I didn't have trackers. My Franklin Covey classic days, I had dailies and weeklies, and that's how I track stuff. I didn't have a designated spot for trackers. It's not to say that I don't need them. I do need my tracker. My tracker area is now one of my most used areas because there's certain things that I need to track. And you guys know this insert I created. I love it. I do have a 2026. Tracy, I did see your email. I'm going to respond to you, but I did see it. Thank you. Tracy went ahead and formatted this. She created it on her own and she sent it to me. I'm going to be putting it up for 2026, so it will be the fold out, but I'm going to put, instead of My Moxie Dreams, I'm going to put My Moxie Dreams and Tracy because she's really the one who gets the credit. Mine works for me. The boxes aren't perfect. Again, I like to input my own stuff. I will be keeping my insert and using mine for 2026. The spaces of the boxes are not perfect, but they're perfect for me. All right. And then I have, God, I hate when people don't put their names on their inserts because I always have to go back here and look. I think it's something DHL, let me see. Weekly sections, list sections, tracker, monthly meal, watching is Dear Planner DL. Dear Planner DL. I purchased this years ago. It's just a plain one. I write in the date and this is my watching tracker. I do not watch things live. I'm too busy. So what ends up happening is I put my shows that I like to see, whether podcast shows, whatever. And then when I have a bulk amount of time, which is typically the weekends, I will binge all the things I'm behind on. All right, that's that. Here's my orders. I think this is a freebie on my website. I just have orders, ordered, confirmed email, ETA, and received. And then I just stamp the month so I know how much I ordered in that month because I'm trying to get a hold of my spending. So hopefully because the remainder of the year is like Christmas and Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be ordering a bunch of shit. I already know. Okay, I had a watch list in here that was so old that it had things that I didn't even watch anymore, had been canceled or whatnot. What I really like to have this watch list for is that sometimes I'm watching YouTube or I'm in Hulu or Netflix. I really hate that we have all these freaking streaming things. For instance, we are Dallas Cowboy fans. If you don't know, my family's from Texas. My mom and dad, all my extended family is in Texas. So it was ingrained in us that we were Dallas Cowboys, even though we've been in a 30-year slump. Jesus criminy. So for instance, the Dallas Cowboys, their season, it used to be you just watched it on ABC, NBC, Fox, right? Back then in our day, it was ABC and NBC were the primaries. There wasn't all this ESPN and all this other crap. Now I have to literally check and make sure that I can see every game because there are so many different streaming services. Why can't we just go back to cable and everybody being in one service? It's so annoying. Anyways, I digress. So whatever streaming I'm watching at the time, sometimes a ad will come on and they'll be like, hey, this new movie, like The Pickup with Eddie Murphy, is coming on Prime. And if I see it and I'm like, oh, I want to see that, I can turn to my trackers and come to my watch list and put The Pickup and put what network I can watch that on. And then anything upcoming, like for instance, I hadn't seen The Water Boys or The Walter Boys. It's called The Walter Boys, Noelia, not The Water Boys. I didn't realize that season 2 of The Walter Boys had come out on Netflix, and I'm like, oh, I need to watch that. So these are kind of things that catch my attention and I want to put on here to be on the lookout, put on your list to watch so that I can add it to this list if it's something that's recurring every week. And then there's the continue watching. And for this, it's more shows that I've watched and just like abruptly stopped watching. So for instance, The Great, I watched all the seasons except for the last like 4 episodes before it was canceled. So it's like on the back of my mind that I know that I have a few episodes to finish that and get it out. I started watching Couples Therapy. I'm on like season 4 maybe of that again, I dropped off at a certain point. Virgin River, I don't know what, and Sweet Magnolias, those are some that they're boring lately, and I'm behind like 2 seasons on one of these. I don't know. Outlander, my friend Kieran, you guys, I've mentioned her in the past. She got me into Outlander, and I watched the first few seasons. Boy, there were some episodes that were like, blow my mind, like, yikes, this is heavy stuff to watch. But somewhere I left off, and I can't ever figure out where I left off. And I don't want to go re-watch a bunch of seasons, although I think I'm going to have to remember everything, because it was good. I just don't remember what season I left off on. So these are just kind of like, when I'm bored, do I want to just finish off these things that I've left out there that I haven't finished watching? So this is new. I used to have one that looked like this. I took that out. I think the one that I have on Freebies is similar to this. This is new. If you like it, I can put it as a freebie. It's nothing special. I just have it here. You can use it as you see fit. All right, and then we have a just divider somewhere between Proverbs 31 and Tupac There's Me. That's what this is. It's a freebie on my website. This is a fold out by Doa Inspiring Designs. I love it. I get it from her every year. This tracks my paid holidays, vacation, and sick time. You'll see here I have a little note here that says I'm owed 12 hours of vacation in August because I probably took time, but I worked. Like for instance, this is when I was in Tahoe. There was a huge issue with work, and I ended up working all day Friday and all day Saturday, which is why I couldn't go kayaking. I had already put that into my ADP that I was taking 8 hours off, but I ended up working. So they owe me 8 hours plus the 4 hours on Saturday that I worked. So I know that I can take that time later and not have to put it into ADP because it's already owed to me, if that makes sense. But this is where I track that stuff. This is my meeting outfit tracker. I've mentioned this before. I created this because I work from home. I'm always in PJs or loungewear of some type, right? And what I found is I have specific favorite outfits. And what I was finding is that if I were going to see my bosses once a week or every other week or once a month, depending on their travel schedule, I was finding in my brain that I was wearing I have favorite outfits. So I was wearing the same thing every time I saw them. They probably thought like I don't have clothes. So what I decided to do is I created this meeting outfit tracker so that I know what I'm wearing when I meet with my male boss, my female boss, when we go to the investment meetings, so that I am making sure that I'm utilizing all my clothes in my closet and not just my favorites. I already have one filled out, and here's the new one. I'm keeping the past one just so that I can reference, right? So I'm not doing the same thing in the same couple of months. Okay, and then you have, who is this? The meeting tracker, I think I have a freebie on my website. I created this. This is planner room. I believe I bought this. I don't believe this is a freebie. I think I bought it. I can't remember, but I like to keep this type where it's a calendar on one side and then some space to write, because a couple of years ago, I wanted to prove to my male boss that he doesn't give me enough one-on-one time. And so I started to track the one-on-one time with my boss. So if it's an investment meeting, if any kind of meeting, so like this one says on the 14th of January, I met with both my male and female boss. There was no one-on-one time with my male boss. So I keep track. And what I do is at the end of the year, I'm able to say to him, hey, guess how many hours you gave me face-to-face meeting time? Last year, I think it was 23 hours. And I know most of you would be like, oh, that's great. It's not great, because I get hassled on the phone and via text more than if we just met face-to-face once a week. There wouldn't need to be that constant like bugging me on the phone or text. And listen, I call it rapid fire. When he and I were both in the offices, I would meet him. He knew I had 15 minutes in the morning to say, hey, what's going on? How are you? And then I had a rapid fire. I have these folders. I'm very tactile. I need printouts of my stuff. And I would sit with him for the first 15 minutes of the day. As soon as he walked in, he would get settled, he'd get his coffee, and then I'd walk in there and I would call it my rapid fire 15 minutes. I'd be like, okay, this, yes or no? He'd say yes. Do I have permission to do donation? Yes, maximum, 5,000, whatever. And so it was in the first 15 minutes of my day with him, I was able to get everything I needed to get my work done for the rest of the day. We don't have that anymore. He is so flighty with me that having this helps me explain to him at the end of the year, this is why I need more time with you. This is why, whatever. So that's that planner room. I believe I paid for it. It may be a freebie. Don't hold me to it. I order stickers every year for my pocket moleskines, and I ordered a bunch of stickers for my book journal. So she sent me this for free. I love it. It's hole punched and in my planner. And then I created this library books so that I can put the pictures of all the books that I read. This is more visual. This isn't necessary. I have a book journal. It's a pocket moleskine notebook. I touch it when I finish a book and I just write out like who the characters were, what I loved about the book, just stuff to jog my memory, because some of these rom-com ones, they're all the same. They're all the freaking same. I read The Last Letter. Oh my God. You guys, the characters still live with me in my mind. I love these characters, best. Anyways, I haven't added new books because I've been lazy and haven't printed out the little thingy bobs, but I like it. I was contemplating taking this out because the reality is I have a book journal where I do the same thing. I put the picture on the book journal, when I read it, how many days it took me to read it, and then any pertinent information. It's in my book journal. I don't share that. I think I've shared it maybe once or twice photo-wise on Instagram, but that's kind of my personal stuff, like, because I'll put like how I related to that book or anything that popped out or whatever. Okay, and then this is my meals insert, and I create these. You see I have an eating out and a home. Normally the eating out, the home is green and the eating out is purple. And I just write down what we ate, because this is a place that I spend the most money is food. We eat out, we DoorDash in. There was a point where I was doing Blue Apron, which was working for a while, and then we got bored with it. So I have to hone this in every so often. I'm gonna go back just a little bit. The home tab used to be the cleaning tab. It was just my cleaning insert and I think a cleaning overview, my annual overview, whatnot. What I decided to do is that I wasn't utilizing that cleaning insert, but I still wanted a home, because I found that there were inserts related to my home that were under trackers, that were under I had a home, this was a home tab. I switched it to garden, we'll get into it. But home used to be a little mini tab back here. And what I was finding is, sorry that it's shaking. what I was finding is that I needed a home tab where everything lived in reference to my home, instead of me trying to find it and like being lost in my own planner, because it was a tracker, but it was a home tracker. So some would be back here under home and some would be under tracker. So what I decided to do is, under the trackers, there's a home tab now and my health tab that's always been there. So now I have just, again, the basic trackers that we just went over, and this divider just, or this dashboard just separates the work portion. And then you get to the home divider. Now the home divider, as I just mentioned right now, my weakness is, or where I fail in my budgeting is meal planning, food, eating out, all of that I just spoke about. That's what this insert, I created it. It's on my thingamabob freebie on my website. This was a meal ideas, and I had this back here under my home tab. And then I had some Post-its. I had what I make for the holidays and some of Jaden's, because he is on the spectrum. He only has a certain number of things that he will eat. We're working on it. He's turning 24 tomorrow, and we're just trying to work on more healthy options for him. But what I did is I had this meal plan sheet, and it was just bulky and I didn't like it, and it was 2 pages back and forth. And what I decided to do is condense it. I went on Canva. I took that insert because I had it in my Canva files, and I took it and I condensed it to 1 page. So here's all the meal ideas that, when I say meal ideas, these are things my kids love, except for Jaden. And so these are things that are tried and true that I can make anytime and they will be happy. Jaden, so what I did, instead of having these Post-its here, because I knew I was going to make this into the garden, is that on the back of this, I added kind of faux Post-its where I put what we make for holidays every year, and then Jaden's favorite things that he will eat. Like I said, we're trying to expand it. And then what I wanted to do is, I had loose notes in my note thing of things that we do during summer. Like when we take the Blackstone out, we have pool parties, and there's certain things that are just easy to make, and they just, people can come and go and grab whatever they want. And so I just put Blackstone, but really I should have put summer, because these are things that either we can make on the Blackstone or things that I make during the summer for pool parties. It's just easy breezy cover girl. So that eliminated some Post-its, some notes that I had, and the meal plan. So now all of those things are combined into 1 page, and I have it under home. And I have that right behind the meal tracker, because these are all the meals that when I need to figure out what I'm going to make. This is an example of brain dumping. I went through my inventory list and tried to figure out, what do I have that I can make and what do I need to go get. So typically how I meal plan, this is, let me see, it's right here. I have these little guys, and it's basically what I did here, but this was like a few weeks ago and I never actually made everything. So what I do here is I put down things I think I can make. I then go here to this is an insert that I created on Canva. And what I did is I have basically an inventory of my fridge, my freezer, and my pantry. And then also in the garage, I have household. So I do this every week. So for instance, we'll do this right now, but here's fridge, perishables, freezer, pantry, and household. Okay. And so what I would do is like, okay, I want to make enchiladas this week. Do I have everything I need to make enchiladas? And then it'll be like, okay, these are the things. This is an example because this is where I did it a few weeks ago, or longer than a few weeks, you guys, last month sometime. So I know that I have barbecue sauce, macaroni. I need celery, red onion, pickle, olives to make the barbecue ribs and macaroni. So anything in purple is like what I need to go get because I have the other things. If it shows that I need too many things for that plan that I want to make for that day, then it's like, okay, I always try to use up my pantry and what's in my fridge, freezer, and pantry before I go do a new meal plan. Does that make sense? Like, I know I have everything I need to make enchiladas. There's only 2 small things that I need to go grab at the grocery store for this particular meal. That's easy, right? And so my goal is to always utilize what's in my pantry first. So for instance, today I made spaghetti. So hamburger meat, I now know I used 1, and then I have to go to pantry for sometimes it takes me a minute to find what I need, but I know it's here, so I gotta find it. Where's my large Prego? Right here. So I just used 1. And then like I probably have Parmesan cheese here somewhere, but I'm not gonna use it because I get a big thing of Parmesan cheese and you freshly grate it. So I know I used hamburger meat. Oh, I used spaghetti. So let's go here. I used 1 box of spaghettis, where right here, 1 box of spaghetti. So now I know this is what I do when I make food. At the end of the night, I'll be like, oh yeah, made spaghetti, let me go update my pantry list. So that way I always know what I have and I'm not scrambling. And also, if I'm really good, I will check it every week so that when I go to buy groceries, I try to buy the minimal amount to be able, again, to use up what I have in my pantry. But I do a 1-month pantry overview always. All right, so again, there's my pantry inventory. These are my minimal planner. You guys saw her daily. I put her groceries, instead of putting it under the notes area, I specifically put it under the home, because when I decide to go plan what I'm gonna go buy, I can use it here, or if I know I'm running low on something, I can write it here so that when I go to the grocery store, I could just tear this out and off we go. All right. Oftentimes before this, what I would do is I would write all the meals here, which probably will still be the case. I'll highlight the things that I need, and then this little guy would go with me in my wallet. And that probably will still be the case, but I love these inserts so much. I just think they're so freaking adorable. Okay, so then that's the grocery portion of the home. And then there's a laminated divider, and this is the cleaning checklist. This is where I had a cleaning insert that I just wasn't using, because I know what I need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and I was doing them, I just wasn't logging it. So my mentality was I needed to get rid of it. This is what I need to see. I have my daily brewing, which is the 4 or 5 minutes that my coffee takes to do my 10 cups of coffee to brew. These are things I automatically do. When I get out of the bed, I immediately make my bed. I then come to the kitchen, start my coffee maker, and then I clean the cat areas because they're messy eaters. I start the dishwasher that has already been prepped the night before, and then I clean the counters. And then zip zones are after I have my first cup of coffee. It's probably about 15 minutes before my workday starts. I will then do the zip zones. Sometimes I can get them all done in 15 minutes. Sometimes I can only get 1 done. But I have the entire week to do my zip zone. And then weekly are all the kind of main things, and monthly, and so on. And then on the back of this, I have all of my appliance information, so that should something break, should I need something, I have it at my fingertip. This happened recently. Something broke in my microwave, and I just went online, put in my model, my serial number, and I was able to order the piece and install it myself. So this is super important to me. I need it at my fingertips whenever it's necessary. And then this is the actual log that I actually use. And this is the annual cleaning tracker. And this one's important because this is the stuff I should be doing every month. You can see that there's a trend here. I hate mopping the floors. I don't mind sweeping, but I don't know. My brain tells me that it's more complicated than it is. But I hate mopping the floors. You can see that it took me 4 months. I mopped the floors in May, and I haven't mopped the floors since, so I know I gotta mop them this month. But these are the things that are super important: to replace the water filter, to clean the stove, to do These are the main things outside of what I track here, because these are givens, right? These are givens. The monthlies are really important. So I decided to toss the cleaning thingamabob that I was tracking, and this is the annual tracker that this is what's important to me. All right, and then I have a home inventory, and this is very different than my pantry inventory. This is the stuff that's in my garage. Basically, this is all the bulk items. I like to have things in bulk in my garage and in the cabinets in my garage. And that way I know what I have, how much I have. Like for instance, I haven't done it for September, but I already know I just tossed one of the, so I only have one foil left. But this is done once a month. This is done once a month, typically at the beginning of the month. And then right before I do a Costco run, I double check all of my inventory to make sure that if I need anything from Costco, I go grab it. I tend to go to Costco every other month, sometimes once every 3 months, because I buy in bulk. I buy in bulk because of COVID. I was one of those people who was supposed to go to Costco right before COVID hit. So now I buy everything in bulk. We have 2 to 3 months worth of stuff in my garage. So it takes a long time for stuff to whittle down. Okay, and then we get into my health tab. And this is nothing new. I have my skincare routine, which again, you can see I wasn't logging in August. I'm trying really good to log in September. The truth is I haven't been good, but I haven't been good at doing my skincare. This I did, but I wasn't tracking perfectly, and I don't want to fill it in without knowing for sure. So September, I'm doing better. This is my little key for the routine. I'm going to be doing a Post-it similar to what I did before, where both my key and my products are in one Post-it, so it's not taking up the whole page. And then I have my weight tracker. This is Doa Inspiring Designs. I use this particular insert multiple times in my planner. This is Hey Planner Girl, a repetitive you use over and over. You just change the year. And this is what I've been doing for 4 or 5 years. I track my weight. I have been stuck between like 155 and 159 the entire year, and I need to get my ass in gear because I should be at 145. So I always track every Friday. I track what I weigh, and then I put pluses or minuses. Okay, and then you get into finances, and finances ties in to my weeklies, okay? Remember that, let me go the previous week. My finances are super important to me because I have had my information stolen. I've had credit cards maxed out. My daily banking is sacred to me. So first thing in the morning, I come in here and I do my daily banking. I check to make sure my Chase is equal to what I know I charged. I make sure that there's nothing on Amex or whatever that I have on Amex is listed, and my Bank of America also. Now, I only keep enough money in my Bank of America account to cover bills. I have no buffer. Everything is accounted for in my savings accounts, and I have multiple savings accounts. So once I do this in the morning, first thing I go in here, check Chase, check Amex, check my B of A checking to make sure everything is in line and there's nothing that I don't know about. And then I check off the Plan with B little calendar. And when something posts on the banking, I make sure that it gets logged here. I'm not going to go too much into that, but this is Perfective Paper. I've been using her finance tracker for years. This year, what I did different is I wanted to know what I was spending on food versus overall spending. So I started doing that, and I really enjoy it. I think it's really good for me because food was the area that I was spending the most money. So how this works is I write down what I spend in a week. Anytime I spend money, it goes here first. And then from here, I say, okay, was this a Chase charge? Was this an Amex charge? And if it's one of these, they get written down here so that I know. And then at the end of the week, when I do weekly resets with you, I calculate what these spendings were in the categories that I track. And the only reason I track these categories is because these are the areas that I tend to overspend. Food, miscellaneous, self-love, cats, fuel, bills. Self-love is my lashes. I don't do my nails. I do my own nails, so I don't go and do them, but it's my lashes and planner stuff, really. These are, and when I buy a lot of skincare, or that's where self-love goes. So I try really hard to stay under my weekly budget, but I haven't been doing it, to be honest. I mean, I'm always over at least $500, but better than I was doing before. So this gets tracked here. This is the weekly snapshot. And so week 36, I spent $728.49. So you go into my Crefective tracker and you'll see here, week 36, September 1 through 7, I spent $728.49. You'll see there's the mark. And then for food, it says I spent $380, and you'll see the mark there for $380. So that's kind of how this works. I'm not going to go too much into detail. There is a bottom mark here. I don't know if you can see this. There's a little tab right here, and that takes me to a laminated sheet that has my credit card information, my FSA, anything I need credit card wise, because I keep my wallet in my car. My car is in the garage. It's always protected. Everything's locked, but I keep my wallet in my car so that when I'm in the house and I need to place orders, I can quickly go to that tab and enter, you know, if I forget the security code or whatever, I can enter it in and order what I need to order. Okay, so that's all the banking stuff. Then you go into the personal place, and this is where another change was made, right? The first change was I added home, and I took the trackers that and all the information that's related to home, and it's in its own divider under trackers. And then what I did is my garden is super important to me. And what I had done in the past is I did have a garden tab, but then I would take it out off season. But I need my garden tab all year round because I'm planting things all year round in my garden. So this went from home, where a bunch of stuff was stored there that really didn't make sense, or some did and some didn't, to garden. And now I have my planting calendar for zone 9 here, fold out, that I just printed from a website. I have my beautiful ranunculus. This is from Sunny Meadows. They sent this to me when I bought my ranuncula corms. And then I have, right now, I have just the basic copy paper of my beds. These are all my beds. I'm ready to pull out all the spring stuff. I'm finishing out my tomatoes and my peppers, but I'm tearing apart my garden to put new beds, do a bunch of stuff. So I know I needed this garden tab so that I can get stuff done. Now, reality is I can take this daily that I have here, which I should do right now. Let's take it out. And we can put her here because these are things I know I need to get done for my garden. All right, and then info, I can't get into. Under info is important stuff like my daughter's car, my car, our VIN numbers, you know, any work that's been done, when we've taken it in, how much it's cost, annual warranties. You have this little green guy here. I don't know if you can see this little green tab within info. And those are, each page has my information, my medical ID number, any medications I'm on, my passport, my global entry, all of that. And I have that for each of my adult children. And so all of that information is there so that this tab, info tab, takes me to what I need. And then the green tab within info takes me directly to those informative pages for each of us. Miscellaneous, can I show miscellaneous? I'm looking, yeah. Miscellaneous just has a bunch of stuff, like things I own, what version of it I own. Then I have this little name tag thingamabob, and it has all my favorite stickers, like for instance, the mom, dad, visit, call stickers, and then just things I use often are here. It's very thin because it's only the limited amount that I need. And then I just put my family one back here. And then I have just like, this is me trying to figure out the Amica dimensions versus Personal Luxe versus the Elite, FC Elite. And then I just have my Tombow trackers, both in white paper and Moleskine paper. And then I have, this is where I reference things. Some of this I need to update because some of it's not accurate anymore, but this is kind of where I keep all the sections of my planner, who it is, so that when I forget, which I always forget, I have it here. And there's one for, I believe, my pocket Moleskine and one for my everyday carry. Somebody asked me where I got this. It's one of those like day planners, personal size or whatever, the half letter size, and I just cut it down to fit my compact. And then I just have Post-it notes attached to the back of these things. In this little zip, I have stamps and other little business cards from people that I utilize for my home. And then just basic Post-its. And then here I just have extra budgets, extra meal plans, and my favorite, my compact little ruler. I have to have a ruler. And then just, again, more sticky notes. And then the back, I have my Tombow favorites. You guys know this. I love my Tombows, and these are the favorite colors that are always in my bag. And that's it, you guys. So the big changes that has really made a difference for me is this home tab and then adding my garden here. And so that way my trackers are not just like thrown everywhere. Those that are home related have its own place now. This has been perfect for me. It's been working. I love it because now I'm not trying to go through 15 trackers under my tracker thing. I know exactly where to go for home and health. So that is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. It's probably going to be 5 hours long, but I wanted to go through it with you because I have been having, I was having issues finding things. And I think it's because I was adding more trackers, and then I was, I just had to sit and really pull things out of my planner that I did not need and then rearrange how to find the things that I do. So that is that. I'm sorry for the extra long one. I hope that it was helpful. If I missed anything, please let me know. Again, most of these inserts I create myself. I did mention the ones that I don't. It's always Simple and Trendy Co., Doa Inspiring Designs, Planner Room, My Minimal Planner. I think that's pretty much it. Everything else I've created. So yeah, that's that. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this flip through. Sorry it's so long, but thank you. If you've stayed this long, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you are new and you like this kind of content, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. For everybody else, thanks so much. I really miss you guys. I feel like I'm not engaging as much as I used to, and I'm going to be better. I will try my best. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.